A few points to note, and this is when you know. If there is the toilets and they keep clogging and there's low water, there's an initiative pushed for, I don't know the name of it. It's, if you pick out 2 words, it's real official. But this with a prerogative where they do it in bulk. And when I say we, it's the people who are in charge of septic tanks. They hold back on the water for initiative. And so in New York, this happened, and there are just a whole bunch of plumbers everywhere having to pull stuff through the piping because the toilets were barely full with any water. That's when you know. So there's that, and then toilet paper. If it is, now this is oddly similar to how like a bouncy ball, like a big aerobic one, it can be lopsided and you not even know it because it has some degrees of blemishing. These giant grooves that are concave is in, convex is out. So these convex grooves that are around the ball, like the rings of Saturn, they are around a aerobic ball, and that blemishes the lopsidedness. Also, the graininess of the rubber ball's makeup is matte. So put 2 and 2 together, the rings of Saturn and matte, and you wouldn't think that this ball is lopsided at a first glance until you start using it, and then it becomes oddly apparent that it is. Let that soak in. And this is also with circuit breakers. They're meant for these plates that are also the circuitry of an electronic grid. In the wintertime, I heard an insider say that they put heaters on it in order so the power doesn't go out, because they would short circuit if they get cold, like a cell phone. And so it's just so odd that in the wintertime in Milwaukee, you'll see on the news, they have all these blackouts of power outages. I think it hit 40, upwards to 47 outages last year in the winter of electronics freezing and the power grid taking a crap on itself, aka blacking out up Shit's Creek without a paddle. Now, if this isn't a thing, you'd be hard-pressed to tell the news otherwise. But when there's these solar panels, and this is if you have an initiative where ahead of time, if you force companies to do stuff, then it would be better. Here's an example with solar panels. If you would have back in the Carter administration, had all businesses do these solar panels so that they're forced to have them upkept, because when you put in a work order, it has to be met, even if it takes a lot of time for just one screw. But these solar panels, and nowadays, since they've been half-assed, now they've gone in half-cocked and using us as the victims, saying that we need to turn to them and put the gas-powered stuff out. One way in doing that would have all the new houses only have solar and not have a gas be installed, and have it illegal for the gas to be installed. Gas stove, that is. And so that's one thing. But if the Carter administration, they would have been up to 35% better and more efficient than they are now at like 5% efficient. And the 5% efficient solar panels, when they get dust on them, they don't work as well. And I heard that there's like a field of dust and it's all on them. And that's horrific. One way in tackling this is if you had these solar panels having they would melt all the wires and fiber optics. So fiber optics is like one step closer to allowing the technology of solar panels to be installed. I think I need to fact check this, true or false, but it would seem one way in bettering than a telephone wire melting with all the solar panels, because if you hooked up to it, it would. So you'd have to rewire everything to be accurate, and that would be like having to restitch all the fine threads inside a hat like this. See how it's getting fuzzy on the outsides? That's because it keeps hitting my Velcro glove. My Velcro glove keeps ripping the threads on it. And so if you have to have these fine degrees to get the rewiring. And this is a whole problem where you can look at Hertz as in so many different attributes when it comes to electricity. When you have like a electric grid and you're changing its main source, like cell from transistors, and so I mean solar cell, and so that's huge. But if you can have both and switch on and off like a car, why not? I meant like solar, electricity, and gas on the car, switch it on and off as a hybrid. Why not?